A hero's welcome for the 3 MPs who secured the Liberals a majority, with newest floor crosser Marilyn Glajeux front and center.
What a great group. I'm very excited to start building Canada strong for all.
And a fantastic addition.
Great, lots of love. Great to meet my new colleagues.
The Prime Minister has leaned on the word humility a lot in 24 hours.
We approach it with humility and determination. Canadians have placed their trust in the government's plan. We now have reinforcements to help implement that, and we're going to go straight to work.
By the time most Canadians were asleep, their political system had changed forever. A minority government had quietly turned into a majority, something that had never happened before. The Liberals won in 3 by-elections, giving them 174 seats in the House of Commons. That makes Carney's the first federal government in Canada's history to switch from a minority to a majority between elections. The threshold for a majority in the 343-seat House of Commons sits at 172 seats. That puts the party at 174 seats in the House of Commons, giving Carney a majority, something not enjoyed by the Liberals since 2019. The path to that number was constructed methodically across nearly a full year. The Liberals counted 171 MPs before these by-elections, a seat tally boosted by floor crossings to the Party for Conservatives and 1 new Democrat over the last 6 months. Because of those additions accumulated through defections rather than ballots, the Liberals needed to win only 1 of the 3 contested ridings to take majority control of the Commons. They won all 3. Carney is now the 14th Prime Minister in Canadian history to lead their party to a majority of seats in the House of Commons. The first 2 results came from Toronto. Doli Begum won in Scarborough Southwest, the seat vacated when former Cabinet Minister Bill Blair departed to become Canada's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom. Begum surprised many when she left her seat at Queen's Park as a member of the provincial NDP to run federally. The second Toronto victory came in University Rosedale, where the Liberal candidate posted a landslide margin, improving substantially on the party's already strong showing in that riding at the April 2025 general election. The third and decisive result took longer. Terrebonne, a suburban riding northeast of Montreal, did not report until past midnight. The riding's history made it the most closely watched of the 3. The riding saw a rematch between Liberal Tatiana Auguste and Bloc Québécois candidate Nathalie Sinclair-Desgagnés, a year after it produced the closest result in the country in the last federal election. After a judicial recount of the results from last April, Auguste won by a single vote. Sinclair-Desgagnés challenged the loss all the way to the Supreme Court of Canada, which invalidated the results because of a clerical error on the return address for some mail-in ballots. Auguste won the rematch with a margin exceeding 700 votes. A substantially more stable result than the 1 vote that preceded it. The Terrebonne count was further complicated by a protest tactic. Elections Canada's count was slowed in Terrebonne by the fact that dozens of candidates signed up as part of a longest ballot protest. The agency decided to go with a modified ballot to avoid issues with printing and folding the overly long ballots, meaning voters had to write in the name of their preferred candidate. Carney said in a statement on social media, "Tonight, voters have placed their trust in our new government's plan. We accept that support with humility, determination, and a clear understanding of what this moment demands. The practical consequences of the majority are immediate and structural. The results mean the Liberals will be able to pass legislation without any opposition MPs or tie-breaking votes from the Speaker of the House of Commons if all Liberal MPs vote together. Committees which review and can block legislation also fall under majority control. Budget measures, trade policy responses to the ongoing US tariff conflict, and housing investment programs that previously required negotiation with opposition parties can now pass on the government's timeline alone." The Liberal candidates in their post-victory speeches framed the result as a mandate for accelerated action. Liberal MP Martin said, "As of tonight, Mark Carney and our entire incredible Liberal team have earned an even more powerful mandate to continue building a better Canada. This is not a mandate to be quiet. It is not a mandate to take our time. It is a mandate to get to work." Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre rejected the legitimacy of the majority's construction entirely. The Carney Liberals did not win a majority government through a general election or today's by-elections. Instead, it was won through backroom deals with politicians who betrayed the people who voted for them, he said in a post on X. Poilievre described the year-long process as a cynical power grab arguing that the floor-crossing MPs who delivered the pre-by-election seat total had violated the electoral mandates they received from their own constituents. The floor crossings that Poilievre referenced included 4 conservative MPs and 1 New Democrat who joined the Liberal caucus over the 6 months preceding the by-elections. Before last week's surprise announcement that a 5th opposition MP, staunch conservative Marilyn Gladu, was joining the Liberals, Terrebonne was seen as the final piece in the puzzle that would allow Carney's government to actually control the House of Commons. Gladu's defection, described at the time as a surprise, given her conservative positioning, shifted the arithmetic to the point where only 1 by-election win was required, rather than all 3. The combination of floor crossings and by-election victories produces a majority that has no direct precedent in Canadian parliamentary history. Previous governments that moved from minority to majority did so through general elections. The mechanism Carney's government used, accumulating individual defections from opposition parties while simultaneously contesting targeted by-elections in favorable ridings, represents a structural innovation in how parliamentary arithmetic can be built outside an election cycle. Elections Canada said last week that 18,200 people in the Quebec riding cast ballots in advance elections in early April, which amounts to almost 20% of people on the voters list. The riding saw 68% voter turnout in the 2025 election. Advanced voting participation in Terrebonne alone suggested sustained public engagement in the riding that had become the symbolic final test of whether the Liberal majority project would succeed. The majority arrives at a moment of mounting economic strain, where global instability is already being felt in everyday costs. Fuel prices have surged across international markets in the wake of the Iran conflict, placing immediate pressure on households and businesses alike. Against that backdrop, the Liberal government moved quickly. On the morning following the by-election results, it announced a temporary suspension of the federal fuel excise tax set to take effect the following Monday and remain in place through Labor Day. The measure is expected to remove up to 10 cents per liter from gasoline prices nationwide. When combined with the earlier elimination of the carbon tax, officials estimate that Canadians could see total fuel price reductions of as much as 28 cents per liter. Crucially, this decision required no parliamentary approval. It was enacted entirely through cabinet authority, something far easier to execute under a majority government that no longer needs to negotiate with opposition parties or manage the fragile balance of minority support. That shift in power comes at a critical time. The July 1st deadline for the review of the Canada-United States-Mexico agreement is fast approaching, with trade tensions and tariff disputes still unresolved. Now, the government holds full control over every parliamentary committee involved in reviewing trade legislation, as well as every decisive vote tied to economic policy. With no procedural obstacles or coalition constraints, it can move swiftly and unilaterally, reshaping Canada's economic response in real time,